All right, so today we're going to go through how to configure USB pass-through to an ESXi virtual machine. Um, Recently, we've been trying to transfer some data from an external drive to our virtual machines that we had taken backups of, spun them down, reset them, and now we need that data back. So in order to configure it for a pass-through, the first thing we're going to need to do is one, make sure that your host devices are enabled for pass-through. So over here, we've got manage. We're going to go to hardware. It already went there for us. And then PCI devices. Now it helps right now if you know the name of your PCI devices. As you can see, I did not know exactly which one was the port that I needed, so I activated all of them. Be aware that if they are deactivated, you need to check it, click toggle pass-through, but there are known issues with deactivating these once active. So I would very much recommend finding out which controllers you're going to use beforehand, and if you have access to that information, only select and activate the ones that you really need. Otherwise, it can not really cause a problem as much as it's just a little bit of an annoyance. So now that we've got these active and we know that they're active, we're going to go to our virtual machines. And right now I've got it set up for a pass-through. I already took care of the data right here. You'll see that I've got USB UHCI controller number 1 and USB 2 EHCI controller 1. So these are our devices. These are what are handling the pass-through. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and edit because I want to put it on a different virtual machine and we cannot share them between machines. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those PCI devices. I'm going to click save and you'll see that they're no longer there. Then you can go back to virtual machines and we're going to put this into our own cloud server. You can see just a CentOS 7 64-bit, same as the other server. And what we're going to do is click edit and then we're going to add other device. Now this is really when it comes in handy to know what your devices are. Mine are, number 1 of the the 1D. So I'm going to do USB UHCI and add another device, another PCI device, and I'm going to add USB 2 EHCI. And this I know is the USB port, the USB device that that our drive is plugged into currently. So this will give me access to be able to mount it in CentOS and transfer the data. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But that about sums it up for how to enable pass-through on the devices. Something really confusing is that you might be tempted to want to try and find this USB device, but I've found that the situation is you got to think of it kind of on a hardware level. Your virtual machine doesn't have a USB device on it. So you have to plug in a PCI USB device, which is virtualized from our host. So don't want that. Do want the PCI device, and you also have to make sure that a USB controller is active. As you see, we've just got the basic initial setup, USB 2. That's fine. Enables both of these. But anyway, that should do it. And if you go into your and save that, always make sure to power them off before making these changes. So I'm just going to power that off. I am going to click edit again. It didn't save. Add another device, PCI device. Add another device, PCI device, and there we go. Save that. Let's say hardware successfully reconfigured. We'll dismiss both of these, and we're going to go ahead and power it on. Oop. So this issue right here happens every once in a while, kind of a hit or miss. So what you can do is you go into edit, and the issue is that with these PCI devices, they're not configured to use any memory. Real simple save is just reserve all memory, save again, and then it'll boot up just fine.